Good morning and Jai Hind all the students. Today we will solve the question paper of class 12. Uh, this paper is prepared keeping all the guidelines of CBSE. Now we are moving with question number 1. See the question number 1. The size of solute particle in solution is approximately. Nowadays you see that in competitive exams data are normally asked in examination. So keeping that thing in mind, the question paper is very important. The size of solid particle in solution is approximately this thing you should know, and that is 1 nanometer. So understand 1 nanometer is equal to 10 to the power minus 9 meter is equal to 1 nanometer. This is the size of solid particle in the solution. Now coming to the question number 2, the question says that the concentration of solution near surface is. So supposingly this is your solution, and here in this solution what will happen due to this surface energy, what happens, the concentration of solid particles become a bit higher. So here the accumulation of particle is more, the solute is more in comparison to the rest of the solution. So here the answer will be the concentration of solution near surface is a bit high, not so much high but a bit high, little bit high. Now we are coming to question number 3. See the question. Mole fraction of a solvent in the solution is 0.8 or 0.8. What would be the mole fraction of the solid for the same solution? See here the sum of mole fractions, the sum of mole fractions is equal to, the sum of mole fractions is equal to 1. Here we have to apply this concept. Suppose that the mole fraction of solute is x, and here it is 0.8 and here 1. When you solve for x, the value of x will come to be 0.2. You see the question number B, option B is correct here. Now see question number 4. The molarity of a solution prepared in water is m by 10. See, if the molarity is m by 10, then what should be the molarity of the solution? Here see the term molarity and molality. So what molality? So what is the difference between molarity and molality? Molality means what? Molarity means number of moles of solute present in 1 liter of the solution, and molality is what? Number of mole of solute present in 1 kg of the solvent. Here one thing we should know, density. Then density of water, that will make the answer. Density of water is 1 gram per ml. That is the density of water. So here see in 1 liter, how much gram will be present? 1000 gram will be present. So the value of molality will not change. It will be again what? M by 10. Because see the volume of water is equal to the weight of water. On this basis we have to make the answer, and the answer will be your option A, m by 10. Near question number 5 is given here. Mu means magnetic field produced by an atom. Mu is what? Magnetic field produced by an atom is root under n into n plus 2. What is n here? So this question is taken from class 11, and here the number of unpaired electrons. What is n? N is here the number of unpaired electrons. This question is very important for class 12 also, and the reason is what? You have to calculate the magnetic moment of certain elements of d block what is called transition metals. So there this formula is applied. That's why this concept is very important for class 12 also. Now we are coming to question number 6. This thing should be known to us. Here see, this orbit is called valence orbit. That is known to you. valence orbit. It is very common for all of the students. And now this orbit is called penultimate orbit. Penultimate orbit, and this orbit is called, that is your X. Here it is anti-penultimate orbit. Anti-penultimate orbit. So what is X here? Here X is your anti-penultimate orbit, means option C is correct. Here we have to understand why we have taken the three different names. Valence shell is important to study S and P block elements. Penultimate orbit is important to study D block element. An anti-penultimate orbit is important to study F block elements. And you better know that after S, P, D and F, no other kind of element is present in the periodic table. Now see question number 7. Question number 7 reads, which law is applied in preparing carbonated drinks? So you know that carbonated drinks are the drinks in which carbon dioxide is dissolved. Carbon dioxide is dissolved. So here the question refers to Henry's law. Henry's law, that is known to you perhaps, means solution in which solute is gas and solvent is liquid. There we apply Henry's law. So the answer will be the 7th question. The option that is correct is your Henry's law. Okay, coming to question number 8. If the solute in a solution is AB and it is fully dissociates into A plus and B plus ions. You see, this is your AB. Okay. Then he states that calculate the Van 't Hoff factor. You know that Van 't Hoff factor is applied in colligative properties. If this is what? This is your single molecule. And what is this? This molecule is not single, but it has broken into two ions. So here it has become double. So whatever molecular weight we will calculate will be double. Will be what? Double. So we want to control the molecular weight by Van 't Hoff factor. So simply the Van 't Hoff factor I will be equal to 1 by 2, so that we can calculate the normal molecular mass of this substance. Under this condition, the option B will be correct. Now coming to question number 9. If two electronic tanks contain copper sulfate and ammonium sulfate, 5 ampere current is passed in the tanks for half an hour in both the tanks. If the amount of deposited copper is 29.3 grams, what will be the amount of aluminum? So here this question refers to second law of what? Second law of Faraday. Second law of electrolysis, given by whom? Given by Faraday. Or we can say Faraday's second law of electrolysis. So Faraday in his second law of electrolysis says that W1 divided by W2 will be equal to E1 divided by E2. Here W1 is given. What if you are taking this thing to be copper, and this thing will be copper also. Here this is aluminium and this will be your aluminium. So we can calculate this masses given. W1 is how much? 29.3 divided by W2. And here you see we can calculate the E1. E1 is equal to what? Atomic mass divided by N. The atomic mass is 63 N divided by N means what we are going to charge is 2. So when we divide it, what we are going to get? See, 3 and here 31.5. So we have got the value 31.5 here, and thereafter 27. Al plus 3 E2 means atomic mass of aluminum is 27 and the charge on it is 3. When we calculate it, here the answer is 9. We'll put here 9. Now we can calculate the value of W2 by what way? See here, 29.3 and into 9 divided by here what is coming 31.5. When you solve this thing, you will get the answer. Okay. Now we are going to see question number 10. Oxidation potential. You see, oxidation potential is electrode potential developed due to oxidation. And here the question option B is simply electrode potential, and third option is normally what happens is non. So see here, actually copper metal cannot go under oxidation. Metal cannot go under cannot go under reduction. This is very sure things. Metal cannot go under reduction. It means, what is the nature of metal? Metals are electropositive. Metals are electropositive. When metals are electropositive, that is their nature. Under that condition, oxidation is not possible with what? Metal. So this option A is wrong. And now what happens in Voltaic cell? In Voltaic cell, suppose I am writing here one equation, Zn plus Cu plus plus, and here it gives Zn plus plus, and here what is coming? Cu. This U has come due to the acceptance of electrons. 2 electron is accepted by it, but this is against the nature of the metal. That's why Cu what is called oxidation potential is no term, and it is simply what? It is the synonym of electrode potential. Synonym of electrode potential. The reason is what? The reason is very clear, that all metals are what? Electropositive in nature, or they are reducing in nature. See question number 11. What kind of reaction are studied in chemical kinetics? Understand, all the irreversible reactions are completed and they are very fast. The time taken in completion of these reactions is normally 10 to the power minus 3 seconds. Under these conditions, it is rather impossible to measure the speed of these kind of reactions. So what we will study? We will study in chemical kinetics reversible reaction which are slow. Reversible reaction. And what is the nature of reversible reaction? The nature of reversible reaction is molecular reactions. So we study normally molecular reactions in chemical kinetics, and that is your reversible reaction. That's why for question number 11, the answer which is correct is A. Now see here, S2 plus Cl2 is equal to twice HCl. It is A. You have to give whether it is first order reaction, zero order reaction, or tetramolecular reaction. Here so many things are given. As we are calculating the molecularity of the reaction, then molecularity of the reaction, what is coming here? 1 mole and 1 mole, 2 mole. So under this condition, this reaction becomes bimolecular reaction. This is becoming bimolecular reaction, and bimolecular reaction is not given. So it is tetramolecular reaction. This option is wrong. As I told you that no reaction can be decided simply by seeing whether it is first order or second order. You cannot do. Actually, this is determined by experimentation. So this thing should be known to you. It should be in your memory. S2 plus Cl2, actually it is a zero order reaction, and the answer one can give only on the basis of memory. There is no other trick to get the give the answer. Here coming to question number 13. The half-life of a radioactive element is what? 2 hours. In what time it will become 1 by 8? So see here, one formula is here, 1 by 2 is equal to n, and here what we are going to get? 1 by 8. Now solve this equation. Then 1 by 2 is equal to n, and here 1 by 2 will be equal to how much? 3. Then transposing the power, we are getting n equals to 3, and time can be calculated by this way, t half into n. Then 2 into 3 is equal to 6. So answer will be what? Answer will be 6 hours. Okay. Now see question number 14. Gibbs free energy in Voltaic cell is, understand always, give in Voltaic cell or in galvanic cell. In galvanic cell, the reaction occurs is a spontaneous reaction. It is a spontaneous reaction, and for any spontaneous reaction, the value of Gibbs energy is always negative. This thing should be known to you, and here the answer is Question number 14, the answer is option B. Now we are coming to question number 15. Zn plus Cu plus plus and Zn plus plus into Cu. The reaction is given to you. You have to decide which one will be anode. Understand always, more reactive metal becomes anode. More reactive metal becomes anode. So what should be your answer? Here in zinc and copper, the more reactive metal is your zinc. That's why zinc will be your answer, means option A is the correct option of the answer. Thank you guys for this episode only. Thank you.